All right, good morning. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. I uploaded it, but
here at the top of the hour, looking for industrial production data out of India. July industrial production expected down 11%. We're also looking for Kroger earnings within the next 30.
So anyways, I woke up with a couple of emails saying that it's not up there. Of course, I did upload it, but I guess it's not. I don't know. I have to go figure it out, so I'll go do that immediately today. Sucks, I know, but I don't know what. I don't know. So I have to double check what's been done. All right. Yeah, I'm on it. So trading Forex is risky. Be careful. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Wayne McDonald. I am a currency trader just like you. Been doing it a while, maybe a while longer, so maybe you can benefit from some of my experience. And that's the whole raison d'etre, is that we can help you, or I can help you, find your success faster than it took me, because this is hard work. And ultimately, Traders Way is the sponsor of this community because they are looking for clients. I mean, they're not doing it for altruistic reasons. They're doing it for clients. They're a broker. They want more clients. The thing is, they want clients that are educated because perhaps, just maybe, they're more likely to have success. And instead of just trading for a couple of weeks and blowing up an account, they'll trade for years and years and years and years and years. And of course, when a trader trades, a broker executes the trades and makes a small piece of commission or spread or whatever, and they do their job and they get paid and everybody's happy. So really, if you're educated, you might be more successful, and then you're more happy. And they have a better client, and they're more happy, and everybody's happy. Symbiotic relationship. Yeah, boss is the boss. Who's the boss? Yeah. So anyway, so good morning, everybody. Ask questions, get involved. I'd like to thank you right now for all the hard work that you put into learning how to trade better. Thank you for the comments that you leave. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Just generally, you know, it's Friday, so let me just thank you for everything. Today, we are doing a CPI. Anything else going on today? I thought I'd introduce you to the crop report. World Agriculture Supply and Demand Estimate comes out every month, and it comes out at noon. So like when you click today's, you click on today's, and it will say not available. Or it'll just spin. There you go. File not available yet. Check back after the release date. They should just put the time, but of course, this is just a standard page. So that's interesting, huh? The supply and demand. The report is released monthly and provides annual forecasts for U.S. and world wheat, rice, coarse grain, oilseed, and cotton. Wheat and cotton, huh? The report also covers U.S. production of sugar, meat, poultry, eggs, and milk. Not world, just U.S. production. Okay. The World Agriculture Outlook Board chairs the blah, 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 blah estimate committee, right? Check that out, huh? Commodity Estimates Committee, which includes analysts from key USDA agencies who compile and interpret information from the USDA and other domestic and foreign sources to produce the report. Holy snap. Would you like the link to this? Supply and demand of a global commoditized product, literally a commodity. Cool. That's cool, right? Now, the other one you have to look at is the, oh, it's slipping my mind. What's the milk one? Scheiße. I'm just totally drawing a blank. What's the milk one? Oh, it's right there. Fonterra Global Dairy. And Fonterra Global Dairy Trade Info, that's the one I like. And this is just for dairy products. So this is milk, cheese, lactose, powdered milk, butter, so on and so forth. Curd? No way! Did you see the curd prices? No way! I know. It's an industry joke. You'd have to be... It's an insider's joke. You wouldn't get it. All right. So here's another. It's so beautiful, huh? So beautiful. Now, the interesting thing about this one, the GDT can really, truly push the Kiwi. The New Zealand dollar moves somewhat here. Like, look at this. Look at milk prices have been falling. Cool. Anyways. Okay. Okay, so milk prices have been falling since 2013. Okay, hit a low down in 2015. And it's somewhat related to New Zealand. We could look at like, do I have it here? Yen. We can look at Kiwi dollar. Maybe that's a good one to look at. Gotta go back weekly, I think. that's not enough. There it is. Falling since 2015, 13, hitting a low in 2015. You see this? What we're talking about is, right in here is 2013. And then it went straight down and bottomed out in 2015, middle of 2015. You see that? And now you look at global dairy prices. They're auctions, right? They're literally auctions every 2 weeks. And here it is, delete 2013. And notice it double topped before the drop, just like prices, and then hit a low, the middle. Look at exactly the same month, hit a bottom. And that's the same double top of the NZD USD, and bottomed out exactly the same time for NZD versus USD, even though this is milk prices for, you know, simplified milk prices. Isn't that weird? Isn't that interesting? How you could have global dairy prices and it's highly, highly, highly correlated with the New Zealand dollar. Look at that. Look at this charts, guys. Let's see if I can squeeze this in a little bit. Let me try to squeeze this even more. Huh? Isn't that amazing? $13 to $15, back up, right? And then a little down, and then some more sideways. Not one for one, but pretty close, isn't it? So I'll give you this one. Hey, you're welcome. See, this isn't the stuff that you read about. This isn't the stuff you see on TV. Right? This is high frequency data, not, you know, so today we have CPI coming out of the United States. Everybody knows that. Okay? But the Fed doesn't use CPI, so why do we even care? Futures chart? Sure, Gary. Absolutely. I used to trade futures. The thing is, so I traded Forex and futures, and I did it for 1 year. And my my tax filings, right, were something like 700 pages. And I ain't doing that anymore. And I realized it was so much more expensive. It took so much more time. It was just so much more complicated to trade multiple markets because they each have their own tax treatment. So I realized if like, let's say milk, I've never traded milk prices, but if milk prices are that correlated to Kiwi dollar, why not trade Kiwi dollar? Because Kiwi dollar is leveraged 100 to 1 or even more, less in the United States, but you're highly leveraged, right? You collect interest. Now, currently it's not a lot, but you don't get any interest on milk futures, right? And the taxation is better and easier and cheaper. So you might as well like just trade that. Okay? Like if you're trading Forex and you have WTI on your chart, why would you open up a futures account at a futures broker, trade the futures contract, right? Have the carrying charges, face rollover, right? But the big thing is having two different tax treatments at the end of the year. It's more expensive to file, more expensive, right? Lower leverage and all that kind of stuff. So you're like, you know what? I might as well just trade the WTI on my Forex account. And same thing with gold and silver. Why trade a gold futures contract through a futures broker and have the lower leverage, the higher cost, the more complicated tax treatment when you could just trade it on your Forex account and have it all under one house, so to speak, to keep your house in order? So now when you filed, you're like, this is what I did on my trading account. And it's just, again, better leverage. You actually collect a yield, better tax treatment, and less complicated taxation. And of course, now you don't have to have multiple accounts open and stuff. So, so why trade physical gold or gold futures when you can just trade this XAU USD derivative of those things and keep it simple? So that's what, like, I was just shocked when I got my tax bill, just shocked. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay. It's weird how you learn these things, though. Hey, Gary, just like the hard way. That's the one where I got more than $100,000 back on my tax return. Think about how complicated the taxes were. If I accidentally overpaid my taxes by 6 figures. And the state sent me back, I think the state sent me back a refund of like $50,000. So now you can figure out how much I overpaid. And I got a 6-figure tax return or tax rebate, I should say, from the feds that year. How about that? See, I've never had a tax return before. I was super excited until I realized the government owed me almost $200,000. So I'm like, okay, this is too complicated. Because I wasted the $200,000, right? I had to wait for it to get back. And trust me, the government doesn't pay you interest on the money that you overpaid. How do you do it? You do it painfully. So, Peter, the real question is, you need to incorporate your trading business and get trader tax status. And then, of course, you go through the pass-through, right? So what you want to do is write off taxes like crazy. So one of the things you do is you buy yourself an amazing computer and a bunch of amazing screens and write them off in your taxes. So now you didn't make any money, or you didn't make the money you spent on your computer. You get it? So let's say you make $100,000, but then you spend $10,000 on, like, let's say your taxable income, your business's taxable income, let's say, is $100,000. But then you're like, well, I spent $10,000 on my trading rig, so now your taxable income is only $9,000, right? So it's like you either pay the government or you buy yourself a computer, and you're like, heck yeah, I'm going to buy myself a computer. That kind of stuff, right? And then I say, hey man, we're going to meet up in the Caribbean. We're going to do a conference, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go because it's a tax write-off. But you're already in the Caribbean, so you're like, pfft. You're south, right? Yes, thanks, Marina. 9/11 today. Goodbye, Chet. St. Lucia's quite a bit south. But I've never heard anything bad about it. That's for sure. For sure. Okay, so anyways, there you go. Well, of course. Yeah, but like Nevis and St. Kitts are way north of you, right? You're south of Dominica, I think. But yeah, I've been in the Eastern Caribbean. It's pretty cool. People are awesome. Huh, interesting. I thought the Amazon was named after women. Yeah, St. Kitts is way up there. Austin, you're in St. Kitts? Yeah, that's right. But so, anyways, if we meet up, I think we'd meet up in Awali. All right, so let's just take a look at where we are. Did you guys get setups yesterday? How'd you do? Everybody good? Going back to the BTC, okay, you got your double bottom, higher high, higher low, so now it just has to follow through next week for the up. This girl's named Aya. Okay. There's some ippity up. Bitcoin. So remember, we got news at 8:30. American CPI. Here's this gold trade for you guys. Up, 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 down, down, up, 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 down, down. Oh, there's going to be some more up, up. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. We got the Baker Hughes rig count coming out later today as well. You guys ever look at that? So this is going to update today. So for people in the live trading group that meets with me on Thursdays, I think about 4 Thursdays ago, we went over supply side economics of the energy complex. And we looked at the 5-year average inventories reported by the U.S. government and where we are now and where we were over the last year or so in regards to the 5-year averages, and analyzed sort of the mean reversion. And then we left the analysis with the idea that you should be focused on the demand side of the equation, looking for demand creation.
Just over India industrial
And
production.
I asked people to think
Slightly
about
better
how
than
to do
expected
that.
decline of 10 spot 4%, released there for India's July data.
So one thing you could do is ask yourself, would
Manufacturing declining 13%.
Would oil companies be adding rigs if we were in a demand destruction market? Or would they be adding rigs during demand creation market? What kind of market would rigs be added? So a year ago, 642 rigs were taken offline. This year, 2 were added. Last year, globally, 400 were taken offline. This year, 4 added. Now, let's say statistically or percentage-wise, the change is minimum from the high, but is, modest relative to the current. But it's in the right direction, don't you think? So this might be something that you're watching week by week. How do you feel about that? Let me give you the link to that. You're welcome. Jano, wow, great. I would congratulate the robot, actually, but there you go. Well, my robot gave me a back massage this morning and told me I was pretty. No, wait, that was my wife. Sorry. Okay. What happened to all the frackers that apparently went bust? Well, someone bought them. All right, so let's take a look at commodities, or not. I didn't want to do commodities. I wanted to do indices. Aussie, Euro, CAD, Yen, Pound, Kiwi, Swissy. Okay, which one do you want me to cover? Remember yesterday, it was like, what was it? Pound, Kiwi were the two weakest. And someone said, will you cover Pound, Kiwi? I'm like, what are you talking about? I forget what it was, but I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, out of all of that, that's the worst you could have possibly asked for. It was pretty funny. Euro dollar. All right. Anything else? That's it. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. Kiwi what? Euro czar? Yeah. Euro up. Okay. Okay. The question is, Alex, are you selling Rand? So there's the confusing part. But let's start with exotics. Okay. The one we talked about yesterday regarding exotics was the Kiwi, was the peso. Okay. Okay, so that one's working, but it's a dollar risk on play. So somebody asked for Euro ZAR. Okay. In a risk on scenario, which you probably are playing if you're buying ZAR, you wouldn't be selling Euro. That's the part where I'm like, huh, I don't really know what you're doing. So in a risk on mode, you would be doing USD. Now, maybe it's not a lot different, but all right, to each his own. I know the swap is higher, and that's probably why you're doing it. Eventually, I think dollar rand will break out, and euro rand will be sort of like lagging behind. Thank you, Rossi. Miro. Oh, you're not on the trade, you're just watching it. Well, if you were going to sell it, you need to sell high at resistance. So there's watching, and then there's, I mean, it's not entertainment, right? So you need to be selling these tops if you're going to do it at all. So like, if you're watching it, but you didn't sell it around 20, then you should stop watching it because there's no point. Okay? So like you missed your turn, so why watch it now, right? So anyways, just sort of a harsh reality. This one might be a little better because you need to limit the things that you're going to watch, right? Your job isn't to watch everything. Your job is to pick 2 or 3 things and not watch it, but set up trade plans and trade. I don't want you to watch 19 different things. I want you to watch 3 things, plan based on your bias, set up buy or sell zones, and then be ready, willing, and able to carry out your plan tactically. But you don't get paid to watch. Okay. Okay. What do I think about the Dow and the S&P 500? It's going to be higher 5 years from now. All right, take a look at here. So I have 2 trades here. I'm going to move them to break even, I suppose. This is from last night's swing trading group. So if we take a look, how many pips? So I have 30 pips on one, 25 on the other. Is that right? No. Aussie. All right, so 30 and 35 pips on each. Okay. And then the euro one is here, and I'll move that stop to break even. And there you go. What was the plan, you say? Well, the plan was, and of course I described it yesterday during the Forex.Today YouTube channel, and then we were here during my swing trading group. So we looked at that plan as well, and as soon as the webinar was over, I pulled the trigger and I was done. And what is the plan? Well, this was today's buy zone, but we planned it out yesterday. Okay, and I reaffirmed it here on the support line, roll reversal, and these are daily pivots. And I was in, at the time, I was in tomorrow's pivot buy zone, which is now today. And now we log in New York, and people are like, so what's going on? What should I do here? Well, dude, it's done. I was done today, yesterday. How do you choose which pair to trade? Awesome question. First of all, here's what we did in yesterday's group. I asked people what their bias is and what they want to have as the foundation. So we picked a denominator first. And the group actually picked yen, which I was a little bit surprised about, but we worked on that. And then we did a cancelization. Which pairs do you not want to trade? And we looked at central banking policy and geopolitical risks, and we discounted the Kiwi and we discounted the pound and left CAD, Aussie, Euro. I think that was it, wasn't it? And basically created an index. CAD plus Aussie plus Euro over yen. Okay? So now what you do every single day is wait for, obviously, the buy zones. But then the second thing you need to do is look at CAD and do a relative strength exercise. Look at Aussie, do a relative strength exercise. Look at Euro, do a relative strength exercise. And then tiptoe based into that long-term portfolio position based on today's relative strength. Okay? Now, I was surprised because I said, well, if it was me, I would have chosen dollar because I can have the same CAD. I can have the same odd. I can have the same euro, but I can add like XAU. I can add MXN, right? And so on and so forth, right? I can trade, now it's upside down, but I could trade USD Rand. Well, oh, let me get the number, sorry. You guys distracted me. Right, not my fault, this is your fault. 0.4, nice, 0.4, core 0.4, better than expected across the board. 259.92 versus 259.6. So everything's better than expected. 1.3 year over year versus 1.2. Wages went down, though. Whoa. Wages went down. That's strange. Earnings went down. Wages went down. Ooh, that's not cool, man. And last week was revised down further. So bad, very bad on the wage side. But that's indicative of high unemployment, right? Someone else, you're willing to work, but someone else is willing to work for less than you, so they get the job, right? AKA competition. Well, that's how you do it, Brinsley, right? Good for you. Well on your way. You know, it's interesting. Brinsley says, you know, I only trade pound yen for the last 2 weeks, made 2,600 pips profit. And, but the thing is, most people, when they kind of join FX Bootcamp, they don't even comprehend making 2,600 pips a month. They don't even comprehend making 1,300 a month. They don't even envision it. There are, you know, gurus and, you know, alert services that brag about making, you know, 400 pips a month. You're 400 pips a month and you're bragging about that? So it's amazing, isn't it? When you finally get there, Brinsley, right? You're like, I only make 2 trades a day. And you're like, right? Crushing your old expectations. And now you have to create all completely new expectations. So how does it feel, Brinsley? My dear Watson. Yeah, light went on. Austin's crushing it too on the euro yen. Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's the same thing, right? Like you pick the ones you're going to be a buyer on, you pick your direction, right? Yeah, pundit, I already went through all that.
Nicola confirming that, saying that the short seller report is not accurate. We are expecting another statement from the company, according to the CEO. Appears to be out. Nicola once again saying the short seller report from yesterday is not accurate.
French finance minister saying EU recovery plan has to be adopted by the end of the year.
Okay, doesn't look bullish yet, huh? But the things, pundit says CPI better than expected, but I think the wages are way, way, way more interesting, and that's bad. Okay, it's really bad. Let me get you a copy. I read it out loud, but I'll give you an example here. Thank you, TradeTheNews.com.
Finance Minister Lemaire just re-emphasizing that we must not withdraw support measures for the economy too fast.
Like, here's something to show you guys. I think I can download this. Download ping image. Download JPEG. JPEG's enough. All right, let me open this for you. 12-month percentage change. CPI has gone up slightly. What is that, like 1%? 1.25% year over year. Food actually has quite a bit of inflation, about 3%. Hey, maybe you should watch today's world outlook for supply and demand for food. Ooh, that might be interesting. Energy collapsed. Okay. And core, everything, not including energy, but it's actually, yeah. So core is no food. So cut this out. Cut out energy. Okay. And even everything else is up, what, 1%? So food is way up, energy is down. Because even if the factory's closed, you got to eat. Neat, right? So we can look at this in a different fashion as well. let me get you this one. How you do this? Let me download this for you. What do you think of this? Okay. Let me put it this way. Okay. And I want you to try to remember this if you can. The Fed is raising interest rates here. The Fed is lowering interest rates here. What do you think? Is that random? Okay, here's food skyrocketing, and here's everything else catching up despite oil. And energy is recovering, but is still way behind where it was. Well, that's one type, right? Dr. Rage says, what about Uber drivers and other delivery services? Is that, I mean, that's only demand, that's a demand on, let's say, consumption. But it shows you one part of the economy, right? So only a certain segment of the economy is deciding to drive Uber. The thing is, Uber demand is way down because of COVID. So I don't know if that's right, Dr. Rage. So see, it's the work that you don't see that might even matter more. Like, you don't see people owning the apartment buildings. One thing I like to think of is as you drive through a city, it's amazing to think that somebody owns every single building and house that you see. Isn't that like crazy? And you look at this the beautiful apartment building right there on the beach with all that shiny glass and the beautiful lobby and the flowers everywhere, and you're like, some dude owns that. Some person owns that. And they probably haven't even driven by in like 6 or 7 or 8 months. They may never even seen the building before, because they just hire, I think it's about 10% NOI. 10% of the NOI, some company manages it. They make sure the gardeners water the plants and they collect the rent. And if the toilet breaks, they send somebody up, right? That's what they do for 10% of the NOI. So it's highly, highly, highly likely the person that owns the building and collects the rent has never even seen the building before.
You're listening to Trade the News.
They just get money deposited into their account every month. They've never even seen the building. Isn't that crazy? Like, dang. That's the way to do it, right? Money for nothing and your chicks for free. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Upon it, well, by your question, you understand what's going on. So now you need to look at the data and make a decision. But clearly you understand. So, yeah. I could just throw it back to you and say, yeah, what is the answer? See, if I was a bull, I'd be getting long soon. Yesterday's conversation was here during the live group, and I'm like, if you're a bull, this is your line. Right here, right now. right here, right now. We're literally yesterday. This is exactly where we were during our live group. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. Monthly M2, weekly M2, psychological level. Role reversal. Interesting. Okay. So again, if you show up in New York, you're like, hey, what's going on? You're like, dude, you should have bought it here 15 hours ago. What's going on now? Most likely there's some profit taking and then a front run for next week, and then it's done. So those who are late are probably going to catch it around this price, actually, $18.50. And people that did their job a little better are in at more like $1,800. Now, the difference is Monday, these guys break even, and these guys stay in the trade, and it goes up, right? It's better to have your stop 50 or 60 pips away than, 15 pips away, right? So now we have to see, are we going to survive this? Because this is clearly where bears are going to try and defend. Okay, but there's a difference between defending and attacking. So I think bulls are trying to attack. But that's because I'm a bull. Okay? I think we got a clear bounce on the support pivot, and we got game on. After that, game on. Up, 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 down, down, buy. 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 Up, up, and on the way to $1.20 again. Okay, you're in at 18, you're going for 20 plus. See what I mean? So I wanted to actually look at, I think the CPI for, is this today? Yeah. The employment subcomponent was the big deal for me. I want to find more details about the details. Energy. All items. I can't find. Where's the wages? Trying to find the actual details. Where would it be? See, the BLS has this data. I just can't find that particular subcomponent. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing. Food, energy, wages. All right, I'm just going to go right to the home page. Job openings, yeah, jolts rise, PPI. Oh, here it is. All right, let's take a look at this. This is more for us economists. Real average hourly earnings for all employees were unchanged from July to August. Oh, well, that ain't bad. Real average weekly earnings. What? This is September 11th. Huh. I thought it was way different than that. I must have misread it. Real average hourly earnings increased 3.3% seasonally adjusted from August to 19 to August 20. Change in real average hourly earnings combined with an increase of 0.6% in the average work week, which is good too. So wages went up per hour and they worked more hours, which resulted in 3.9% increase. But I think someone was thinking higher than that, but who cares what they were thinking? Up is up. All right, so actually I'm going to read that as pretty decent because I think other people are wrong, so I don't care what people are expecting. All right, so there you go. By the way, are you guys getting a hint of the types of research you should be doing? Yeah. Just farting around here. Boom, boom, boom. Just farting around. All right. Nothing really going on. Nothing very interesting. Is anyone actually going to read the report, the crop report? Did I kill it? I guess I killed it already. Did I kill it? Must have killed it. Yeah, I killed it. So I gave you CPI, gave you dairy, rig count. Yeah, I killed it. I put it up higher. Baker Hughes, Global Dairy, USDA. Okay, it comes out at noon. Sure, I'll do CAD, USD, CAD, yen. Well, you know what? Let's go the other way. Let's do it this way. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing. All right. Okay, so I'll wait. It's got to wait. That's it. If you're doing Forex correctly, you're waiting. Like a sniper, they spend most of their time observing, very little of their time shooting. Now, what else could you look at here? Let me get something else for you and see if it comes interesting. USDA Economic Statistics and Market Information System. Oh, what? Pretty, huh? Huh? The Dukes are reading it. It's true. Bo and Luke Duke. No, different Dukes. See, it's kind of cool, right? They gathered this information, like, right? National Agriculture Statistics Service, Foreign Agriculture Service. Very cool. Can you imagine, like, people work in these government departments and no one's ever heard of them? Oh, the Turkish cotton report. So, Turkey's starving to death, but they're not going to plant cotton. Remember, I told you one of the major problem right now that Turkey is facing, the good people of Turkey, the Turks are not exporting enough. And right now they're like low yields, which means either the weather sucks or their techniques suck, low prices, high costs, COVID-19, better things to plant than cotton, aka opium, are the major reasons to expect a decrease in planting. So what does that mean? Cotton prices are going to go up. But the Turks don't have any cotton planted, so it doesn't matter to the Turks. Someone else is going to plant the cotton and export them, but they'll make money next year. You have to understand that. The next rotation. Prices of production inputs, all right, the factors of production, if you guys remember your economics, such as fertilizers and pesticides, increased. Meanwhile, cotton prices dropped. Encouraging farmers to switch to alternatives. So whatever, not good. But it's interesting information, isn't it? You can go through country by country by country and kind of get a feel for what's going on. 13.8 billion of American exports going to China. $12 billion going to Japan. Shows you how important Japan is, huh? So when the global economy is good, foreign countries are buying agricultural products from the United States. Interesting, right?
Approaching the top of the 9 o'clock hour, a little more than 30 minutes to go to the close. Yields are near the lows of the day following that CPI data. The U.S. 10-year down about a quarter of a basis point. Stock futures are pointing to a higher open of about a quarter to a third to about 0.5% in the S&P and Nasdaq 100 futures respectively. Crude is looking down 1.4% or 52 cents, with NYMEX trading set to get underway here in just about 90 seconds.
So Canada, check that out. The United States exports more to Canada by far than they do to China. So what do we care about? Like, oh, well, we're in a trade war with China. And we're going to slap them on the wrist over the soybeans, eh? The soybeans. The soybeans, for Christ's sake. And then you're like, dude, it's nothing compared to Canada. Okay. Check that out. Canada buys 32% more agricultural products from the United States than 10 years ago. 33%. Or 32%. Amazing, huh? Canada in 2019 was the top market for U.S. prepared foods, fresh food, snack foods, processed vegetables, fresh vegetables, feed and fodder, wine and beer, soda, condiments and sauces, chocolate, cacao products, dog and cat food, processed fruits, vegetable oils, live animals, fruit and vegetable juices, breakfast cereals, oilseed, including rapeseed. What's the other, right? And flax. By the way, rapeseed fields are beautiful. Oh my God. But they don't call it rapeseed anymore. But anyways, amazing, right? All those products, the number one buyer of all those products is Canada. Abundant seasonality exists in my mind. Isn't that interesting, guys?
Russia, July trade balance $4.3 billion versus $6 billion expected.
So the United States cannot afford to go to a trade war with Canada. They can't do it. Can you imagine if all of a sudden their exports drop by that much? Neat, right? Wow, did you guys know the High Bush Blueberry Council is visiting South Africa? Ooh, my God, really? Lucrative market of ox gallstones. Huh. See, I don't know enough. There's so much to learn. So I'll give you this site you can play with. I like how there's the trade balance right there. Look at the size of these numbers, guys. Amazing, huh? Somewhere in here, you're going to be able to find something that will give you a better edge than most. Anyways. Boring? It's boring, right? On says China's going to buy more agriculture from the U.S. Yeah, that's what you think currently, unless there is a trade war and they take back some of the promises. But that's the thing, it tells you what is, and then you have to decipher what will be. But like if just looking at the cotton crop report, I don't know if it's indicative of everything that Turkey produces, but maybe you can spend some time on one of these websites and look at the entire Turkish economy, let's say agricultural economy, and find out if things are going to get better next year. You know what I mean? Or how about you're like, well, I don't trade TRY anymore. What about South Africa? What's going on in South Africa? What's going to go on in South Africa a year from now, right? That's what we're talking about, right? That will give you the kind of, that'll give you perhaps like a little inside info into the future, right? You get off GATS, go back to countries and regions, and you say, okay, I want to trade ZAR. Look at, right? Look at Botswana or Djibouti. No, Djibouti's over there. Swaziland, I'm sorry. Look at Swaziland. What's Swaziland doing? There you go. Oh, look at that. South Africa lifts ban on alcohol sales. Good job. I didn't know that. Good job, guys. Cool. Spike in pineapple consumption. That's probably people making wine in their bathtubs, right? No wonder Raymond's looked like a mess the last couple of meetings, huh? Raymond. What happened to Raymond? He looks like a disaster. Oh, they're selling alcohol again. It's all right. I'd buy you the first drink. Yeah, that's jail wine, isn't it?
UK government reportedly introducing new restrictions on household contact
Jungle
in
juice.
parts of the UK.
So grain. Wow, you guys should get a Borlaug fellowship. That sounds good. Don't forget the blueberry guys are visiting. Food and agriculture, import regulations, exporter guide. You know, we're more. I want to get some stats on what's going on. What's going on? Nothing's right on tone. Grain. Say, I want more than just grain. Raisins. So South Africa is planting less lumber, and because of their low production and inefficiency, South Africans are starting to buy lumber from America. Instead of planting their own trees, they have to have a tree cut down in Georgia, put on a boat, shipped all the way to the other side of the world, and somehow that's more efficient than planting South African trees. That's just terrible. That's just terrible to think that that's more efficient, more effective, and cheaper than planting a tree in South Africa. Isn't that terrible? Like, how could that possibly make sense? Livestock and poultry. South Africa shows and South Africa trade shows. Currently, there are no. Oh no, I don't want trade shows. Here's the blueberry industry. They got the Americans coming in and checking out. You fix mugger, right? Don't make no sense. Yeah. Sorghum. I had some sorghum a few months ago. I was kind of interested in it. South African swine fever. Yeah, that's when you can't make a decision, right? I don't know. Should I be long? Should I be short? Am I a bull or a bear? Like, oh my God, you got swine fever. So what I'm trying to find is just the general South African productivity of exports, just general export data, not like exports for poultry and another one for grain. I want to see just the general report. What's going on? I guess we need to do like an attaché report, world production market and trade reports, maybe. Guess this will be it. So that's coming out today. So we're right back, full circle, right back to the thing coming out today. Okay, we're coming all the way full circle, right back to the report coming out at noon. You want to look and see what's going on in South Africa. Linda, right now, all the courses combined into one giant course, taking control course, fundamentals course, swing trading course, day trading course, fundamentals course, they're all put together. I think it's what, $382. It's a 76.4% discount right now because of COVID-19. fxbootcamp.com. Mato's like, yeah, someone in South Africa getting kickbacks. Well, to me, it just sounds like think about it. The only reason you would buy something from someone else is that you can't do it yourself, or the other person will do it cheaper. And I'm thinking the Americans can't be cheaper as far as labor is concerned. They might be more efficient because of better equipment and just larger numbers of lumber, like the per unit cost would be lower.
Banker Lipinski,
but I don't think that's what's going on.
Interest rates are at the right level.
I look at it like either South Africa doesn't have any trees, or they're screwing something up big time. Well, corruption is an inefficiency, and then therefore it's a screw up, right? Like if I cut down a tree in my backyard, and someone picks it up, puts it on a truck. So now you need heavy equipment. Then you put it on a truck. Then you ship it to a yard, and then they package it up or turn it into lumber. Then they package up the lumber and put that on a truck and drive it all the way to Savannah, Georgia. And then on Savannah, Georgia, which is, 200 miles, then they put that on a boat and sail the boat all the way to South Africa. Then they have to unload it off the boat, pay their taxes, duties, and imports and all that kind of stuff and all those fees, put that on a South African truck, then ship that to a lumber yard, and then some dude comes over and says, yeah, we're going to build a house in Johannesburg. We need some wood. And they're like, yeah, we got this lumber right here. And that is a good deal relative to wood that just was grown in South Africa. It's crazy how bad the prices must be in South Africa. And that could only happen through like gross negligence. Like unbelievable inability or massive, massive corruption. like it makes no sense, as somebody says. Don't make no sense. Yeah, it's like crazy bad sign. Crazy bad sign. And then you look at Turkey, which faces some of the similar challenges, and they're not even planting anymore. And maybe that's what it is. Like, there's one thing about having low production of cotton in Turkey, but if you're not even planting cotton anymore, then definitely cotton prices are going to go up. Right? And then pretty soon you're buying cotton from Georgia. You're like, oh my God. Oh my God. Really? What? Yeah, Morena's like, it's been a problem for many years and no productivity. It's terrible, right? Like, how could that possibly? What should be happening is, you would assume that South Africa would be exporting all over the world. It should be a natural, like the first economy that develops is one where you provide natural resources to a developed economy. That's when you look at how economies are born and where they are in their maturity. When you don't got nothing except trees and dirt and stuff in the ground, and then there's mature economies that are growing and they need stuff. They need more coal. They need more lumber. They need more food, right? All that kind of stuff. They need more stuff because they're growing like crazy. Well, at the very least, you could say, well, we don't make anything, but we have a bunch of input raw material that someone else could make something out of, right? So you're like, you can take our coal, you can take our gold, you can take our trees, you can take our food in exchange for money. Then after a while, the economy starts to mature and they're like, well, look, if you're turning our iron ore and coal into steel in your country, we could take our iron ore and our coal, mix them together and make the steel here. And not just sell the input resources, but then you move up the food chain. And then after a while, right? After a while, you find out your steel exports, let's say rolled steel, not I-beams, but rolled steel and rolled aluminum, is being shipped to Germany so that they make car doors out of them. And you're like, oh, well, your cost of labor is higher than ours, not just your cost of input resources. Well, your input being capital and labor, right? K&L. So you can say, okay, well, now we can take our South African iron ore and coal, make steel, and then take the steel and make car doors. Not a full car, but now you're making car doors for Mercedes and then shipping it there or whatever. You see what I mean? And the economy over time grows and grows. Well, now to actually make a car door, like to make steel, you're going to need to smelt. So now you have to build smelting factories, right? And then if you're going to make car doors, now you got to bring in different equipment. You got to train your employees. You got to build this giant factory. Maybe you got some robots going on. You definitely need some computers going on. And now you're getting more and more sophisticated over time. And then pretty soon, South Africa makes their own cars, not like Chinese, Japanese companies moving into South Africa to make cars for the South African market, but South Africans making cars for South Africans. They're like, we don't need no Toyota. We're going to drive our South African car, right? So, and you move up and you become more and more developed. So if you think about Japan before World War II, it was an undeveloped country. Then you think, right, and now it grew to, by the 1980s, be one of the most mature economies in the world, and still is. And then South Korea, around the Korean War was very, very, very undeveloped, right? So now we're talking 10, 20 years after Japan, and then was a very good example of capitalism working there and democracy working there, and suddenly, boom, 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 it went from making cheap junk to like making the most sophisticated electronics in the world, like Samsung, right? and LG, for example. And if you need high-end stuff, you go to South Korea, right? And then after that, then you had Taiwan, right? And it was undeveloped and all that kind of stuff. And then very quickly in a period of 25 years, it went from zero to hero, right? And now even China in 1989 was nothing. And by 1999 was quite different. And by 2009 was amazing. And then like every 10 years, I mean, China's at the point where it's tearing down 20-year-old skyscrapers because they're too old and ugly. And they're just building more, better and nicer and more advanced because they can't, because they're so sophisticated and wealthy. Right? And there's always the next order. So if I was Turkey or South Africa, I'd be jostling for position like, we're next, right? Because, you know, India's next, but who else is going to be next? Where are you in line to get that money? Because it's all foreign direct investment. And you have to remember, maybe 10 years ago, Europe was set to pour money into Turkey. They were eager to pull Turkey into the EU. Gone. Screwed it all up. Screwed it all up. Man. So who's next? So, right? If I was South Africa, I'd be jostling for position. Like, okay, go ahead, send foreign direct investment, build infrastructure in India, but you should also have a Southern Hemisphere economy that you can count on during the off season. So while India sleeps, South Africa flourishes. That's how I'd position it if I were me. Foreign direct investment into South Africa. South Africa should plant their own trees so they have their own lumber. At the bare minimum, right? Right? Cool. So anyways, we got something out there. So have you guys set up your trades? We're at 80.50. What do you think? What's going to happen at a midpoint psych level at support? I'll tell you what I told you yesterday. Yeah, we got lots of them, $10. We got lots of them, bro. So I got just on Aussie yen and Euro yen, there's 3. And they should be worth, let's see, let's pick on Aussie yen, I guess. Let's measure what they're worth, and we'll call it a week, I guess. They should be worth, so I have a bunch of limits right now. You see my limits? Makes sense, right? I'm in at 77, and I'm going for almost 81. So I'd say 333 pips each. But actually, in a month of September, if this warms up, I'm usually going for this number here. So I can go ahead and move my take profit. This would be much more likely in September. So I'm in at 77, going for 82. So let's call that 500 pips each. Nothing's right, I'm told. Right, Joe? So are you guys, how many people here are going to come to my meeting on Monday? Or sorry, on Sunday? We're having cigars and cocktails. We're getting together for a mixer. We're not going to have any charts open. We're just going to be talking shop. Is anyone going to actually go to any of these websites, dig for information, and show up with something interesting to talk about? Like, hey, you know what? I was reading about this and blah, 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 blah. Cohiba and Makers, nice. So the way it's going to go down is if you're a member of my group at fxbootcamp.com, I will open the war room. Okay? And you will log in, turn your camera on. Okay? And it'll just be us hanging with the cameras on. And while that's and your microphone on, so I have a headset or a good mic, and we're just going to be sitting in my backyard smoking cigars and having a cocktail. And I will broadcast that live on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, we will be able to see your chat, but you won't be in the conversation. If you want to be on the conversation, okay, show up to the war room with your cameras on. No drugs. Okay. I'm just not a big drug guy, so just. In fact, I'm not a drug guy. I'm not a big drug. I like little drugs. Yeah, so don't do that, all right? Oh, and I have another rule. No vaping. No vaping. No pot. Well, if I can't tell, it didn't happen, right? No. You have yourself a nice, fine cigar and a fabulous cocktail. Okay? I know Ryan gets mad, right? I'm like, no vaping. So anyways, so if you're cool with that, or if you want to be on camera with a cocktail and a cigar, you can have an open conversation with me. You won't be typing your questions. You'll be able to talk with the group. Okay? If you don't want to be on camera and you do want to interact with us, but you don't really want to be on camera, then just watch for it on YouTube, right? It'll be on youtube.com/fxbootcamp. It'll pop up just after 5 p.m., maybe closer to between 5:15 and 5:30. Once I get the group together, then I got to get YouTube. So I'm doing 2 webinars at the same time. So I'll broadcast that, and you can just hang out with us on YouTube, and you can type your questions. James, they were supposed to be in the group. For some reason, they're not in the group, so I got to go back and find out why it's not. Maybe I didn't click the, maybe I added it, but didn't click like publish button or something stupid, right? So I got to go figure that out now. I also have another important meeting today. Like I got a ridiculous, sickening agenda today. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm sick today. So nothing like, projectile diarrhea 3 minutes before your webinar starts, but that's how it goes. So, you're like, yep, it happens, right? So anyway, so I apologize if today was lame. There you go. Yeah, no, it's COVID-20. I upgraded. I got the free upgrade. Yeah, you don't have to smoke, but have a cocktail or something. And if you're not into that or you don't want your camera on, just meet us at YouTube. That's all. But just think of it as a group of friends hanging out in my backyard, shooting the breeze. But typically that involves cigars and alcohol at my house. I'm not addicted. I just really, really, really like to. Hookah's interesting, but it's pretty much a vape. Yeah? But yeah, if that's your thing, sure. So anyways, thank you for being in my life. Thank you for the effort you put into Forex. Thank you for the professionalism that you show every single day. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate you. Thank you to Traders Way for sponsoring Forex.Today. Thank you for YouTube for allowing us to get together. If you imagine 15,000 people can come together every single day and support each other, that's quite a valuable community, and I'm very appreciative of it. So, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And maybe I'll see you Sunday at the FX Bootcamp YouTube channel. By the way, at the FX Bootcamp YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/FXBootcamp, I need a couple of hundred more subscribers, right? So send your sub bots or whatever. I need to get over 10K. So, and remember, there's something like 4,000 Forex videos at the FX Bootcamp YouTube channel. 4,000. So maybe it's worth a sub, huh? So have a wonderful weekend. You deserve it. Adios, muchacha. Bye-bye.